Hey everybody, it's Liz from West Star Tarot, and I'm here to do day 5 and 6 of the Card a Day May project that Kay at Amidst the Gray is leading. I was all set to sit down yesterday, and as I mentioned, we're kind of in the middle of a reno here, and these guys doing the work just kind of show up whenever, like there's no rhyme or reason. So I was sitting down yesterday at 5 o'clock to do my video for my pull on May 5th, and knock, knock, knock. So that was the end of that. So I'm doing it today instead, and I'm just letting go of outcome and schedule, and I'm figuring, you know what? I'm pulling my cards every day and in really having interesting and deep insights. When I get to film is anyone's guess. So anyway, 5525. Did you notice that on May 5th? So I did. I'm kind of interested by numbers. So 5 times 5 equals 25. So May 5th, 5th month, 5th day, 2025. So I just was thinking about fives and how fives are about change, sometimes disruption, chaos, kind of the chaos in the middle of the 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have this kind of craziness in the middle. I did not pull a 5, however, on May 5th, 2025. I pulled a 3. So I sit down each day to do my draws for the card a day for the card a day May. And I oftentimes, when I do card a day, I just ask for guidance. But questions have been coming to me. So yesterday when I sat down, I had a hard day yesterday and a little bit of a hard day today too, emotionally. My daughter's having a hard time processing her dad's death and posted something on her Instagram. And then I saw it and it just made me so sad because she was so sad and I wanted to be able to help her. And anyone who's a mom gets it. Anyway, when I sat down with my cards, a question or an idea came to me. And I just said, I asked for guidance on processing grief. And I pulled... Oh, shoot. Here it is. I pulled, as I said, a 3, the 3 of feathers. And the key word is peace. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought this card was interesting. We have dark purple sky. Covered in pale purple clouds, behind which is a beautiful rainbow that we can see. And then on top of, we have 3 mourning dove feathers, and then down below, 2 mourning doves. And, MOURNING, not good morning, but mourning as in grief and that kind of mourning. And when you hear those mourning doves, they sound sad. They sound like they're in mourning. In the guidebook, they say, are they? Is that just our human understanding of it? Or are they cooing what does it say? Are they cooing their prayer that sounds sad to us, but is really a prayer to the divine, and it's a sound that brings peace. And their song's purpose to opening our hearts and giving us cause to reflect and restore peace in our lives. And I thought, well, that is really, these cards are really shiny, and it just seems like no matter how I hold it, I get a reflection. But so I was thinking about mourning doves, and mourning doves are meaningful to me. First of all, I love the sound that they make. And here where I live, usually I hear them at dawn and at dusk, so in the morning and in the evening. Sometimes other times, but that's mainly when I hear them. And the mourning doves actually were significant to my partner and me. We used to go in the late 80s and early 90s, we went to this island called Montserrat. It's near Antigua and Nevis and St. Kitts, in that area of the Caribbean. Very small, like population 7,000. And we loved it there. We felt like we found our spiritual home there. And after visiting there multiple times, we decided that we were going to buy a piece of land. And so we had some savings. And so we bought a plot of land with the intention of building. And we were going to build a house, not a big house, but a house that we could visit on occasion, but also rent out. And I got to tell you, this was way before Airbnb and all those kinds of places. But we just thought, well, this could be a way to do it. So we bought the land, and, we had friends there, and we had friends who were in real estate and knew builders and all that kind of stuff. So we thought, okay, eventually we're going to build a house here and we'll rent it out from time to time, and that will pay the expenses, and then we'll go stay there from time to time. So that was our dream. It was a big dream. Our mortgage on the house that we were living in was almost paid off. So we thought once that mortgage was paid off, then we could look at building a house in Montserrat. Now, our house on Cape Cod was, trust me, not anything grandiose at all. And we didn't plan on building anything grandiose in Montserrat either. But, this was, like I said, it was a dream, and it kept me going. So we went multiple times, and in March of 1995, we went with my parents and my sister and our daughter, who was about 5, because she was born in 1990. She was 5 at the time. And we rented a house, and, it was just such a wonderful trip, spending time with my family. And I don't know, we just had a lovely time. And we got home, and in July of that same year, the Soufriere, or volcano on Montserrat, erupted and destroyed about over a third of the island. And many, many people lost their homes. Ironically, the land that we bought was in the quote-unquote safe zone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going on and on about this. I just mentioned it because want to mention why mourning doves were meaningful to me. Anyway, that's Montserrat. And what was meaningful, I'm sorry, I'm really like, going off on a tangent. Whoa. Anyway, mourning doves are meaningful to me because the first few times that Bob and I went to Montserrat, we rented the basement or the downstairs of this English lady's home for like $200 a week. It was just this little teeny apartment. We thought it was great because it was $200 a week. And, you know, wow, who gets to stay in the Caribbean even back then for that kind of money? And it was clean and nice. And we could walk to different bars and restaurants in the beach. And, you know, it was just great. So anyway, there was a patio outside the house. I really am getting to the Morning Doves. And we would go out there every morning and have our breakfast. And as we sat there eating our breakfast, having our tea, we would hear the Morning Doves. And so even though there's Morning Doves here in New England, that I can hear them here outside my home and be transported to Montserrat, which is like my soul home. Unfortunately, after the volcano blew up, we didn't think it would be a very good idea to build a house there. So we never did do that. And years later, we finally just said, I guess we should sell the land. And I will tell you, it was like, I keep thinking of that raisin in the sun. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? It was, wow. It was, yeah. I'm like, that was hard. That was the end of that dream. But the interesting thing is, even though a third of the island was uninhabitable, including the capital town, the land that we bought was in the safe zone. And so when we went to sell it, it was actually worth more than when we bought it. And what made me kind of happy was a guy who lived in England who was originally from Montserrat, so an expat, bought the land from us. And when he was retired, when he was going to retire, which was soon, he was going to build a house there and come back to his home. So that made me feel happy. Anyway, wow, this was a 10-minute roundabout. Morning Doves. Peace. How do I process my grief? Well, I find inner peace. I go within. I go to places where I feel at peace. I do activities that make me feel at peace, like working with my spiritual practice, deepening my spiritual practice, pulling my cards, and realizing that there's a rainbow behind the clouds. So this card had deep significance to me. I'm just looking at what I wrote in my, threes. So the number 3 is the first number to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And so it creates a complete cycle. And so I guess that's kind of what I'm looking at in my life right now, where I had a beginning, a middle, and an end, and now I'm cycling around and I'm going to have a new beginning. And that's a way that I can find peace when I look at life as cyclical and thinking that, there's beginnings, middles, and ends, and we just keep spiraling around and up and up and up. So that's what I thought about this card. I'm so sorry that I digressed so far on that one. So that was yesterday. And then for today, I sat down at my altar, my reading table, and I was just going to ask for guidance. And so I was sitting there, I was shuffling the cards, and I was thinking about guidance, just, asking for guidance. And then all of a sudden, this thought or idea or question came to me: how do I heal my heart? So questions are coming to me every day. And I realize that it seems like this month and this month-long practice with the fifth tarot is going to be an exploration of healing my heart, of exploring grief, of understanding the process of grief, and so forth. So how do I heal my heart? This is the Seven of Fire, and look at the keyword, activation. So I thought, I have to, how do I heal my heart? I have to activate it. I can't let it slump into the mud and get shut down. I have to do activities that activate my heart. And so the herbs that I'm working with right now are hawthorn, which is a heart healer, rose, which is a heart healer, tulsi, which is a heart healer, ashwagandha, and milky oats. These are the herbal tinctures and elixirs that I'm taking right now. So to continue with those heart healing, heart activating herbs, and also rose quartz, which is my beloved crystal, one of my favorite crystals. And so to, meditate, I have a beautiful, I should have brought it with me, but I have a beautiful rose quartz palm stone called Rosie that I love and adore, and I keep her right by my bedside table. And so working with Rosie and holding her to my heart and asking her to heal my heart and to help me activate my heart, awaken it out of this slump and dump. So sort of a side note here, let's just look at the card. So the Rider-Waite-Smith Seven of Wands is one of my favorite cards in the tarot. I think of it as standing your ground, standing up for what you believe in, protecting what you believe in. I think of it as a social activist card. One of my favorite Seven of Wands is the Seven of Wands in the Tarot de Saint Croix, Lisa de Saint Croix's deck, which is one of my favorite decks. But this one is different. So I noticed right away we have 5 balls of fire, or globes of fire. We have north, south, east, west, and center, and above and below. So we have the 7 directions to match the Seven of Wands. And this card talks about cleansing and clearing. I can help cleanse and process the pain of grief that I'm experiencing by cleansing and clearing and activating my heart and getting in touch with my spiritual practice. So it says here the divinatory meaning is a sudden burst of newfound energy which will lead to greater insights into my spiritual journey. So that's how I heal my heart. I work with my heart healing herbs, my heart healing crystals, my heart healing spiritual activities. So day 6. Another powerful card. And thank you, Kay, for your practice and for sharing your practice with us. Peace and love, everyone.